Hanshi McCarthy. He is the founder of the International Ryu Karate Research Society. He's a direct student of Richard Kim and Kinsho Hiroshi Sensei. On a personal level, Hanshi McCarthy was born in Vancouver. Thank you.
Buenas noches, mis amigos. Bien, gracias. Un abrazo. My español is poquito, so I must respond in English or to your colleague in Japanese. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be here, and I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude for allowing me to visit with you. Thank you very much. It's also a great pleasure to make the acquaintance of new friends. And I'm sure we are all like-minded in pursuit of common goals. So I feel very comfortable speaking with you. And perhaps something that the viewers at home don't know is that we've had an opportunity to chat for 15 or 20 minutes before going live. So I'm very grateful to meet some new friends. Thank you. Also, just before we start, I'd like to just make one tiny correction from my from your introduction. I wasn't actually born in Vancouver, Canada. And I would be remiss not to mention this. I was actually born on the other coast of Canada. Vancouver is on the west coast. And I was actually born in a small city on the east coast called St. John, New Brunswick. Vancouver was where that's not at all. I'm sure that's my fault somehow. But Vancouver was where I was living in the 80s before I immigrated to Japan. When I first left Canada for Japan in 1985, I was living in Vancouver. So may I ask, in which direction would you like to begin our talk today? Would you like me to target a specific aspect or area to talk about? Would you like to ask a question for me to respond to? I'm prepared to do anything, but I just like to know how it's like you would like me to. You might as well go commit suicide now, and your family, because what you did has embarrassed. I like to say threatened the insecurities, but that's another question. I'm already on weak ground right now here from a cultural point of view. But here's the point. So Mauricio, I'm coming back to you now. So there's Mauricio, the one part of a larger whole. The larger whole with empty hands, not weapons, is tegumi, tegwa or tigwa, torite, and kata. These are the four parts. One part, kata, which in my opinion was never meant to teach you anything. It was meant to culminate what you should have already learned in a two-person scenario-driven practice, which when you separate it, the application practice, when linked together with other such practices into some type of abstract or subjective geometry creates something greater than the sum total of its individual parts. And that is what kata is. It was meant originally to contain and culminate how you responded to those acts of physical violence that were or are habitual in human nature, and specifically to that society. When I say that society, I specifically mean southern China and exclusively Fujian province, which is where we trace our progenitor sources from which comes the kata of karate. So leave that for a moment. When Itosu and the others modified this practice to put it into, and it wasn't just the school system. They tried it in the military. The Navy guys tried it. They tried it in the police department. But it's just that when it got into the school system, that was the key. Children went to school only for 5 years in those days. And look, I mean, they were not practicing kata every day. You know, this was an adjunct to their daily exercise. Ask any Japanese person, especially the older people, what is this? And I'm going to use the Japanese pronunciation here. Dajo Taiso. Dajo Taiso. Dajo means radio Taiso. For about the last 100, well, as soon as radios were invented and used in Japan, every morning, Japanese culture wakes up and they got this dozen sets of exercises that they do. So the idea of this communal tranquility coming together, it was already ingrained at that era. And this very nationalistic sense of pride, plus the propaganda, distorted propaganda of the fighting arts, that's how you become a real man and serve the government. This propaganda about, you know, you might not have come from samurai stock, but by practicing the fighting arts, you will imbue the spirit of the samurai warrior. Was a very common propaganda used by the Batokodai of that era, of that radical military escalation.
Desde ya queremos cada uno de los que estamos acá agradecer que hayas hecho viajar desde tu vasta y interminable experiencia, las hayas compartido tan generosamente con nosotros y que nos haya hecho ver lo que el maestro Quindio siempre me dijo: aquí no hay estilos, lo que sí hay son espíritus que navegan de un lado al otro a través de la forma, pero los espíritus siendo los mismos. Muchas gracias, querido amigo, hermano y maestro. Desde Argentina, desde este lugar, desde Sudamérica, de toda esta gente que está participando, agradecemos tu generosa exposición. Para vos, mi agradecimiento y el de todos.
Hanshi, my brother, my sensei, my friend, I am so infinitely thankful. My words, anything that I can say is absolutely insignificant compared with the richness of your words. Thank you very much, dear Hanshi, for accepting this invitation. But to tell you the truth, this is not an invitation, because this forum is your home. We can't understand sometimes that with just one question, you generously enrich us with all this knowledge. There are a lot of participants that would like to ask you, that would like to get your knowledge and to learn from your teachings. Hope someday we will have the opportunity, you will give us the opportunity of having you again. So not me, because, you know, I am already done. I'm so lucky that I already had the opportunity to meet you and hope to meet you again soon. But many participants don't have this opportunity. And the main goal of this forum is to give the chance to those who don't have these chances to meet you in person and to grow up from your teachings. So hope someday to have you back. And thank you very much for giving us a trip today. We had the opportunity of flying to the past and flying through the continents with the teachings. Today we had with us people from all over the world, mainly a lot of people from Latin America that are so thankful of having this historical opportunity of learning from your teachings. Hanshi, my dear friend, my dear brother, you can't imagine how important you are for us. Thank you very much today for joining us. So Hanshi, I suggest we give a big applause to our dear Hanshi. Such a great honor having you today, dear Hanshi.
Well, again, thank you so much, everybody. I love you all.